guard. Hold. Left. Hey.
Detail. Hey.
Good afternoon. My name is Lieutenant Nathaniel Rodriguez, and on behalf of the New Bedford Police Department, I would like to welcome everyone here this afternoon for our 11th promotional ceremony. This afternoon, we'll be swearing in our three newest officers, Officer Andy Pereira, Officer Matthew Greathead, and Officer Vincent Peters. They all graduated from the Randolph Police Academy on Friday, February 14th. We will also be pinning our three newly promoted officers, Officer Anne-Marie Lefevre to the rank of Sergeant, Officer Alan Faber to the rank of Sergeant, and Sergeant Mark Giamavo to the rank of Lieutenant. And finally, we will be presenting Officer Mark Conley with the Chief's Award. I want to congratulate all the officers that were mentioned. Before we begin, I ask that everyone here please stand and join us in citing our nation's Pledge of Allegiance. I will now invite City Councilor Linda Morad to the podium and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Detail. Present.
Good afternoon. Please join me as we pledge allegiance to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order.
All right. All right. Hey. Forward. March.
Thank you, Councilor Morad. Thank you, everyone. Everyone in the audience can be seated, please. At this time, I would like to invite our police chaplain, Reverend David Lima, to the podium to say a few words and lead us in prayer.
Can we all stand, please? And if you'd bow your heads. This is always a wonderful occasion. Not only are we having new officers sworn in, getting ready to do the work that's necessary, but we have officers that are being recognized for their diligence and for their hard work to acquire a higher position, which is necessary to lead. In order to be good leaders, we also need as a community to support them and to support the new officers. So if we'd bow our heads. Lord, as we gather here this afternoon, we want to congratulate those who have done the service to be recognized, those who are being recognized with the Chief's Award, those who have gone through the academy so they can become officers. We'd ask for blessings upon them, and we'd ask for your provision around them. We'd ask, Lord, that you would also keep them safe in all their endeavors. Give them quick wisdom, Father God, in the places where they need, when they're making decisions, in times that are necessary. And Lord, we'd also ask that you would give a comfort to the family, that they would not only be able to support their loved ones as they go out to do their work, but that they also know that they are loved and cared for even while their loved ones are out there doing it. Lord, for this and for all things, for the chief and right down through to the person just cleaning the floors at the stations, for everybody in the Bedford Police Department, we ask your blessings and we thank you for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Detail. Seat.
Thank you, Reverend Lima. I would now like to invite City Councilor Joseph Lopes to the podium to say a few words.
Thank you, Lieutenant. On behalf of Mayor Mitchell and the entire City Council, it's my honor to give a few brief words. We want to congratulate those that are getting promoted, those that are being recognized for going above and beyond, and also the three newest officers that have committed to the city, to themselves, and to their family to behold the honor and the duty of what they've chosen to do. To become a police officer is something that you want to do, something you have to feel, and something that you're willing to pay the ultimate sacrifice if you have to. And I commend those willing to do it, those that are doing it, and those that are promoted, and the entire City Council wishes them and their families a safe, healthy, and happy career. May they go from officers to sergeants, lieutenants, and captains, and maybe one day the next lieutenant or the next deputy chief or police chief. May they all work tirelessly together to move the city forward as the City Council does and the mayor does. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you, Councilor Lopes. Thank you to the families, friends, fellow colleagues for being here today and a show of support for the officers being honored this afternoon. Thank you to the members of the City Council for their continued support and attendance at these events. Our new officers are now ready to be sworn in. I now ask City Clerk Dennis Farias to come to the stage to begin the swearing-in ceremony.
Thank you, Lieutenant. Good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to swear in our newest officers, and on behalf of Chief Cadero, who always asks that all present officers join their new brothers in arms in taking the oath as well. Gentlemen, if you raise your right hands and repeat after me, please. I state your full names. Do solemnly swear that I will, to the best of my ability and understanding, perform my duty as a police officer by serving my commanding officers with respect and dignity, and the citizens of New Bedford with compassion, courage, and integrity. I will do all this in accordance with the Constitution of the United States, the laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and the Charter and ordinances of the City of New Bedford. So help me God. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me officially congratulating our three newest officers of the New Bedford Police Department one more time, please. We will now begin the promotional ceremony and presentation of the Chief's Award. I would now like to invite our Chief of Police, Chief Joseph Cadero, to say a few words and for the presentation of the badges and award.
Good afternoon, and welcome to our 11th promotional ceremony. I'd like to welcome City Council President Joe Lopes, City Councilor Linda Morad. Thank you for coming. You've always been here. Appreciate that. Family, friends, Reverend Lima, our department chaplain, if I might give a plug-in for him for all the work he does with us year-round. I appreciate that, Reverend. Deputy Chief Paul Oliveira, appreciate the work he does all along. Our command staff, Captain Lino Souza, Captain Paul DaCosta, Lieutenant Nate Rodriguez, and Lieutenant Norman Duchesno. Also present, Chief John Shaves from Halifax, also a former member of our department. Welcome. Former police officers, retirees. I see Pauline Garcelon back there and Mike Martin. Thank you for being here. Fellow brother officers from the New Bedford Police Department that are here to support those getting promoted, receiving award, or newly being sworn in. And if I may also take a moment to thank all the members of our police department, both sworn and non-sworn, for the amazing work that they do year-round. As Council President Joe Lopes said, it's a tough job, and they're willing to put their life on the line. So you do an amazing job, and I want to personally tell you how much I appreciate that. Thank you. Also welcome the three newest members to our family. Welcome, you're joining a police department that is rich in history and tradition. So you're joining a wonderful family. We're happy to have you. We thank you for the time and effort that you put on and the road to get here. We thank your family and your friends for supporting you and the support that you'll continue to give them, because this is a tough job. And the work really begins tomorrow when you start hitting the streets. And over the next 32 years, they'll need your support more than ever. But we're grateful that you're here, and I can tell you, we need you. So thank you, and know that you have a family of brothers and sisters on this department that are active, and retirees that you can lean on at any time for whatever you need, for advice, guidance, or just someone to hear what your concerns are. So we're glad you're here. So as we move along with our promotional ceremony here, we actually have two people that are up for the Chiefs Award. One could not be here today, and we'll be pinning him with his award when he returns next week. But I'd like to talk a little bit about him, because he's a great man, and I truly believe he's deserving. That's Paul Pyers, Officer Paul Pyers, who's been in the department, I want to say 28 years. But for the last 21 years, Officer Paul Pyers has been doing 2 full-time jobs without complaint, and he's done it exemplary. He's been a member of the traffic division, and he's been managing our fleet of 150-plus vehicles. And it's a taunting task in and of itself. And if anybody that's been on a job, you know, sometimes we have a lot of cars, sometimes we're scraping for cars, and he does an incredible job. But a quick story to really highlight how hard he works. It would have been around 2006, 2007. I was a captain, I was in charge of traffic division. And I would run our numbers every month to see what everybody was doing in there. And I called Officer Pyers one day into my office because he was given the same exact number of citations and car stops as the other officers in traffic division. But the caveat is he had another job, and he was managing 150-plus cars. It was amazing, the amount of work that he did without complaint. And as my understanding, he intends to retire in June, and I could not let him walk out the door without us recognizing his dedication and commitment to our department. So I wish he was here so he could receive this award in person, but let it be known publicly how much I appreciate the work that he's done over the last 28 years. So if you would join me in a round of applause for him, even though he's not here today. Sergeant Cassidy, prepare Officer Connolly for his award.
Officer Mark Conley.
Now, Officer Mark Connolly has only been with us for a very short period, but yet he's made his presence known. Last year, he received a life-saving award, and this year, I felt compelled and honored to award him with the Chiefs Award, and I'll tell you briefly why. Officer Connolly, since he's come here, he has embraced the philosophy of community policing. I talk to a lot of people, and I get calls. And I can tell you I've received many calls in regarding Officer Connolly, how he treats people. He treats them out there, and he uses the 4-letter words that we like: care, love. Those are the kind of words that he uses, those 4-letter words, because he likes people. He's a people person. He's out there every day when nobody's looking, going an extra step to help people. And to highlight that, and what really pushed it for me, was last week I received a call at night, at home, from someone I know. And they said, "Chief, I'm sorry to bother you, but I got to tell you, an officer by the name of Mark went to my relative's house in the North End, and he gave me the address. I was suspecting it was already Mark Connolly by the way he was describing him. He said that they had a medical emergency there. Officer Connolly showed up with other first responders, and they started to give medical attention. This person was transported to a hospital and unfortunately did not make it, passed on. But Officer Connolly was kind, he was compassionate, he was comforting, he was caring to that family. To the point he said, "When you find out the details of the wake, would you please stop by the station and let me know?" Now, it's important to know that he did not know these people from Adam until he went to this house. And then he went to the wake. and made his presence known. Representing the New Bedford Police Department with kindness and humanity and passion, he, Officer Mark Conley, he has totally embraced and he embodies what we've been trying to do here for the last 4 years. To have all our officers to practice the philosophy of community policing. Mark, I called him up that night to thank him. And while I was having a conversation with him, he nearly broke down in tears because he wears his heart on his sleeve. He uses more than just the tools that are on his belt. He leads with his heart, and his mind follows, and all his training there in the academy. He is a model for all of us to follow. I'm proud of you, Officer Conley. I'm proud that you're on the New Bedford Police Department. And I know for you to get here was not an easy road. It was a hard road, but you didn't give up. And I'm grateful. Without any further ado, Sergeant Cassidy, please. Now, just a few words before we get on to our promotions, which many are here for as well. You know, it's a tough job. There's no question about it. And Amory Lefevre and Alan Faber are now making the biggest jump that there is, from patrol officer to sergeant. And to do that, it requires change. But people are resistant to change. That's just the way we are. It's how we're built, I guess. But without change, there is no progress, and without progress, there is no progressive evolution. You know, this job 50 years ago was much different than what it is today. Pauline would attest to that. When she started, it's much different for the officers that are starting today. When I started 34 years ago, we were using a manual typewriter with carbon paper, multiple copies, white out to white out our mistakes, and many, many other changes that we've been able to accomplish through technology and otherwise. We have to change with society because we are part of society. We're part of the community. But it's not easy when you go from a patrol officer being on a beat and now you're the boss. And when you're on the other side, you get a different view. You're driving a car along and you're looking at it from a landscape view. When you take that step up to sergeant, you get more of a aerial view of what's going on in the department, in the community, and how we get that to accomplish all that. It's not easy. But without change, we don't progress. So I ask you to take on that change, to be positive change, to be the change of this department that you want it to be, that I'm sure during your career, you might have been a little critical of some of your sergeants, your bosses, your commanders, your administration. Now you have an opportunity to be that change, to be what you would like it to be, to take care of the people that are below your command the way you wish they had been. But bringing on change isn't easy because you will be criticized one way or the other. If you don't do anything, you're going to be criticized. If you do something, you'll be criticized. It's not always popular to be the boss, but it needs to be done. And Lieutenant Giamavo has already experienced that change, and he's experiencing change himself, now becoming the platoon commander, in charge of not just 5 or 6 people working the streets, but sometimes the entire city. It's a big responsibility. And how do we get there? How do you do that? Many books have been written on this stuff, but attitude, positive attitude is what we need. Without a positive attitude, we do not get to accomplish a whole lot. And I like to quote, because I do love quotes, I like to quote Thomas Jefferson real quickly here. Nothing can stop a man with a right mental attitude from achieving his goal. On the other hand, nothing on earth can help the man with a wrong mental attitude. How true is that? You know, with a positive attitude, you can do anything. With a wrong attitude, you can't accomplish much. So I tell you, as you progress through these doors of change, to be positive. Positive is in everything that you encounter. Try to find a positive light. Be that lighthouse, that beacon of light of positivity and a good attitude for your officers to follow, so that you can lead that way. I say we take follow of Mark Conley, Officer Conley, and we use some of the words he uses in our emotions and our actions of leadership, that we care for our people, the people that work for you. And there's nothing wrong with a little love either. And be fair and firm, consistent. Hold yourself to high standards. When we talk about caring, that doesn't mean we overlook someone's shortcomings. That's an opportunity to help them to be more successful, to overcome those shortcomings, to point them out. Certainly we wouldn't let a loved one run in front of a train or do something that would be so harmful to them without us trying to get in front of it and stopping them. It's the same idea. This is your team. Lead them the way you want to be led. Kindness, tenderness, care. But don't overlook the shortcomings. When they're stepping out of bounds, pull them back in. Be lavish with the carrot and compliments. And privately, do your corrections. You know, leadership is not easy. And it comes with a lot of responsibility. And those chevrons you've got on your sleeves now and the bar you have on your shoulder, Mark, they're heavy. They're heavy with responsibility, because now you've taken on a whole new aspect of vicarious liability. Because everybody that works for you, you're responsible. You're responsible for everything they do or they don't do. Vicarious liability is a heavy responsibility. But even beyond that, it's everybody that they're watching out for. It's our community. They're depending on your team. They're depending on you to lead them. It's heavy, but it's worth it. It is worth it, because you will appreciate the success that you'll have with your team when you start to help people. And that's what this is all about. That's why we took this job. We took this job to help people. Help people when they're struggling with either addiction, domestic violence, their child is missing, going down the wrong road. A brother officer, sister officers in help. You know, right now it's a national crisis for police officers committing suicide. We got to look out for our police officers and our citizens. We do that through teamwork and unity. We have full faith in you, and like I just told the new officers, you're not alone. There's no need to walk it alone. We're a family of friends, colleagues, some active, some non-active. We need to rely on each other, lean on each other, help each other. So I wish you well on your new endeavors, your new challenges, your opportunities. The Deputy Chief and myself, we are here for you if you need help. We plan on sending you to any training that we can to help you and sharpen your skills. You've waited a long time to get here. You've worked hard. You deserve it. Now, enjoy your new position and enjoy the opportunity to lead your team to success. Sergeant Cassidy, if you prepare Lieutenant Mark Giamavo.
Lieutenant Mark Giamavo.
Lieutenant Mark Giamavo came on the job. I have my notes here, if you don't mind. He came on to the department on August 15 of 2004, appointed a police officer, recently promoted to sergeant on September 10th, 2017, being promoted lieutenant on January 26th of 2020. On July 22nd of 2010, he received a nice letter thanking him for assisting a motorist with an automobile that had died at an intersection, practicing community policing. Thank you, Mark. He received another letter for assisting the court in apprehending a witness for trial who had not been appearing in court. Thank you again, Mark. And he also was recognized for his assisting officers with an elderly, confused person who was lost. So again, thank you, Mark. If his family member would come up and pin Lieutenant Mark Giamavo. Sergeant Anne-Marie LaFever was appointed to the police department coming up on 33 years on October 25th of 1987. Promoted to sergeant on January 26th. She received, she's also been a member of our EAP program, I want to say for close to 15 years, 16 years, about right, Emery? Since 1988. 88, oh my God, longer than that. So wow, 31 years, 32, coming up on 32 years. She received a nice letter of gratitude and guidance from a resident regarding an incident behind Monty's Park, helping some folks there, practicing community policing, which we like. Received excellent service regarding locating of a relative who was missing. And that was it. Very good. Very proud of you, Sergeant LaFever. I believe it's Chris LaFever and her daughter that's going to be pinning her. And Chris and I go back to high school in 1978 to 1983. Sergeant Alan Faber came on the job on May 2nd, 1999, promoted to sergeant on January 26, 2020. On 11/15 of 2000, he received a nice letter thanking him for assisting some individuals regarding a difficult and trying investigation. Well done. And in July 29 of 2003, he received a thanks from a resident who was involved in a traffic accident, and he helped her with her children who were in a car. Apparently were very upset. Again, practicing some caring and community policing, which we like. Thank you, Alan. On December 8th, 2003, you received a certificate of accommodation in the arrest of a male with a handgun. Outstanding. On May 12th of 2005, you received a certificate of accommodation in the arrest of drugs and a firearm violation. Well done, Alan. On January 11th of 2007, the New Bedford City Council gave him a resolution for heroic efforts during the events of the Foxy Lady shooting. And on September 11, 2007, the New Bedford Youth Repertory for his donated time at their theatrical performance. And finally, on December 20th of 2007, he received the Life Saving Award in locating a male who had fell into the river. Well done, and we're very proud of you, Alan. These are his sons pinning him today.
more round of applause. I would like to thank everyone for coming here today. This concludes our ceremony. Sergeant Cassidy, please dismiss the detail.
Detail. Beat. Esme.